The ground shook in the darkness. What was that? He thought to himself as he awoke, and then he remembered. Oh yes, my friend. Regret, anger, and bitterness, despair all rising within him. I remember you. You were so small, so fragile when I first took you in. I covered you, I fed you, and you grew. The memories becoming more vivid now the longer he lay awake. He thought to himself, now I'm here, a captive of your cruelty, a prisoner in this darkness. Driving today, I'm contemplating. I find myself sitting, hating, loathing the choices I'm always making, paths to destruction forever taking. Staring at clouds from another lonely storm, wondering how this became the norm. Riding high on top, fancy and free, I pull away to begin serving me. The fruit of the Spirit was effortless till then, but feeling now plucked up all over again. For a time long ago, now I yearn, but there's no way to go back and there's no way to unlearn. With the gaining of knowledge there is much grief, and now I am here, only a thief. For I robbed the time that belonged to my God, and no substance within it makes me a fraud. So I'm sitting in this sightless daze and wandering through an emotional maze, trying to separate fact from fiction. Am I living in a contradiction? A way of life I say I believe, or trickery, deception, things hidden up my sleeve? On my knees I'm struggling inside and quietly defying the dark side. So I kneel upon this precipice and I openly embrace your sacrifice. Gazing upon Calvary's hill, in this moment time stands still. I lose myself in your cloud of glory, listening intently to a never-ending story. The love of a king most divine, his life in trade for lowly mine. On my feet I'm stilled inside, washed clean from Calvary's tide. You know, there are experiences in life that we can only experience when we come to the end of ourselves. When we realize that life is not something we were meant to handle on our own. You know, like we're in control of this thing somehow in some way. I think one of the things that COVID-19 has taught us is that we're not in control of everything around us. But those experiences, when we come to the end of ourselves, we can experience things and we can go places that we never thought we were capable of going, and things that we can experience spiritually in the Lord. But we have to come to the end of ourselves. See, the Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11 that God has placed eternity in their hearts. There's something inside deep in our hearts that God put there on purpose, so that when we come to the end of ourselves, we'll look for something greater. When we become discontent with the things in this world, discontent with this life, and discontent with and unsatisfied, there's a longing in there, and it's to connect with something greater. But it's only when we'll come to the end of ourselves that we'll be able to experience the things that God has in store for each and every one of us. So my prayer for you is that you would recognize that you need to come to the end of yourself. Just come to the end of yourself and look up. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Just look up.